Hutch Tanner trapped an asteroid last night. He altered its trajectory, deliberately sending it on a collision course with a wayward star.
This is a big one,
he told himself.
probably seen from Earth.
He had tracked this shooting star for a few days and needed to harness its energy. Always prepared, with magnetic poles in place, he was done before the timekeepers announced the morning hour had arrived. The clock in Town Square Dome chimed 5 times as he pulled his suspended backpack to eye level. Those timekeepers never gave him an extra second.
Maybe no one will notice if I'm a little late for work. Again,
he mumbled.
Or remember that it's my 21st birthday.
The gravity monitor in the lower chambers of Town Square Dome turned the lever of the gravity wheel. Hutch heard the echo of rattling chains and steel particles, clanging louder with each turn, bringing the first signs of life into black hole number 9, also known as Earth Star.
All right then.
Hutch drew a breath and discarded his night vision goggles.
Let's turn the lights on.
20 minutes of oxygen, provided by his rations of breakfast pellets, gave him enough time to get to the power plant. He trusted those tasty morsels, as he did the timekeepers, to announce it really was morning, and that the gravity wheels kept them right side up. He reached for one of the thick triple-braided ropes linking all their houses, gardens, and cobblestone lanes, securing the whole city in dark space. With 15 minutes of oxygen still in his veins, he hovered over the care center to hear the ancients sing, mesmerizing their caregivers. It was their praise to the god who had given them a second life. The soundproof curtains swept upward, and Hutch watched the ancients, some 100 years old, lift their hands to the god who still had use for them, unlike the powers to be on Earth who had exiled them into the unknown. No one on Earth could have guessed that the ancients would draw up the blueprints for survival, how to live in black holes. They figured out how the holes near Venus had breathable air similar to Earth's, so they built floating cities upon a contraption that held a mixture of oxygen-nitrogen vacuumed in from Venus's atmosphere, which was already leaking into Earth Star, and called it Cloud 9. "It's like helium," the ancients said, "a lifting gas, yet 6,000 times stronger." It was their morning songs, however, that impressed Hutch the most, bringing life into this darkness and peace into the hearts of the men, women, and children who Earth discarded and time forgot. Slowly drifting toward the main power plant, he let the song flood his soul, and he sang. There was nothing better. The morning song fell through the cracks of space, dissipating till all he heard was the hum of the motherboard. He donned his gravity boots and hit the ground running. The motherboard, or simply Mother, lined the walls of the cylindrical tower. Not 1 inch was spared for anything but power grids.
Good morning, Mother.
Good morning, Lightmaker.
Hutch yawned. I brought you something for my birthday.
From his backpack, he carefully retrieved the crystallized light force he had harnessed from the wayward star. The light force inched down his fingers and slithered into the depleted fuel receptacle.
There you go, Mother. Not a minute to spare.
Mother whirled to life. One by one, Hutch flipped her switches, releasing millions of light bearers with tentacles of magnificent colors. His fingers danced over the keyboard as he assigned the light bearers their specific destinations. Their brilliance intensified as they ascended together, creating light as they billowed out of the tower. They wiggled upward like a fountain of fireworks, swerving as one to the left and to the right, an orchestra of brilliant light. And finally, when the sky exploded with color, each light bearer descended ever so gently upon Earth Star. Green lights the grass, the leaves, and trees. purples, yellows, reds, and blues spray the flowers that open their blooms, and rays of gold sparkle through, lighting old gas lamps with flickers true. Earthstar was dressed in brilliance as the ancients continued their praise. Hutch removed his gravity boots and floated up to the observation deck. On his slow ascent, he checked every receptacle and all of Mother's moving parts. Each mechanism turned its own way, some to the left, some to the right, some upward, and some downward too. All fed from the fuel receptacle.
Hutch, you there?
A voice crackled through his comlink.
Daisha here.
His eyes brightened as he crawled down the wall.
Yeah, I'm here.
Guess what I found on patrol this morning?
More space debris? Mother could use some upgrades.
He twirled on the pilot chair, recovered from an abandoned space shuttle still attached to the Russian space station that couldn't survive a minefield of asteroids. They kept the shuttle tethered to the longest of the triple-braided ropes just outside the black hole entrance. It served as a street sign of sorts.
We need to rebuild that space monkey of yours.
You mean my Star Cruiser, right? Which, mind you, I built from scratch.
If you say so.
Hutch chuckled. She sighed loudly.
Anyway, I found a rather large Earthling. Says his name is Major Jack Lithcomb. He came in one of those space shuttles.
They're still making those?
Apparently.
Daisha cleared her throat.
He has a message for you. Should I let him through the power grid?
Did he bring his own supply of oxygen pellets?
He did. And extra containers for us.
Hutch shook his head.
They still haven't figured out the right formula. He won't take 2 steps without gasping for air.
That's a little disturbing.
Whatever, let him through. I can turn the grid off for only a minute or so. Don't get caught.
Daisha veered her cruiser through the unarmed grid safely. Stars from outside the black hole illuminated the brightest near the entrance, which made it easier for her to navigate. Finally, she clicked into the airlock of Town Square Dome and escorted the Major inside. He was bent over, hands on his knees, and breathing erratically.
He's all yours, my friend.
Daisha gave the Major a mock salute.
By the way, Hutch, nice job on trapping that shooting star. Managed to keep its light burning, huh? 1 more light in our sky. How many is that now?
About a dozen, but who's counting?
Hutch gave the Major extra pellets, strapped him onto his back, and carried him to the power plant.
I'll make this quick,
Lithcomb muttered, still trying to adjust to Earthstar's oxygen levels. Hutch slid him off his back.
You okay there, Major? You sound a little intoxicated.
How would you know?
Lithcomb covered his eyes with sweaty palms. His knees buckled, but he managed to stay upright.
Earth wants you back.
He snapped. He took a deep breath and straightened up.
I mean, they don't understand how you've created a sustainable environment here.
He paused, slapping his veins to make sure the oxygen pellets were working.
In any case, it's your knowledge they're after.
Hutch raised his eyebrows, puffing out oxygen rings of colors. He was Generation Alpha, the firstborn in space. Though he had no idea how his body would adjust, visiting Earth appealed to him.
I'll have to take some of the ancients with me.
That's not gonna happen.
Hutch bowed his head and blew out a hefty sigh.
Then, no.
You're giving up a chance to come back to Earth?
Never been there. The ancients tell me I'm not missing much.
What do they know? They're old. What use are they?
Hutch pursed his lips.
Take a look around the city. While you're at it, take another breath. Come visit our library and our parks. Take a dip in our crystal-clear waterways. Drink from our cisterns, and I'll tell you what use they are.
Lithcomb bit down on his lips, shaking his head.
I suppose the caregivers must come too.
Would only make sense.
Major Lithcomb shot a message to the nearest space station from his digital communicator. Tanner not leaving without ancients and caregivers. Please respond. A day later, the response came. Ancients' religious propaganda not welcome here. Only Hutch Tanner has security clearance. If he has what is known as the Christian Bible, it must remain on Earthstar. Better still, we recommend destroying it.
No surprise there.
The Major, who had thought to find shelter inside the visitors' quarters of the hospital barge, grabbed a handful of oxygen pellets, the ones Hutch had given him, and made his way to the power plant. He almost stopped to admire the light show, but thought better of it.
Do not get distracted,
he told himself.
These people are nothing but Earth rejects, scrappers surviving on discarded space debris.
The Major left Earthstar, cursing the young architect of light who would not go without some of the ancients and caregivers.
Hutch Tanner, just another nobody. What a fool,
he yelled.
Stay in your precious black hole, then. The ancients aren't worth it.
He shook his head, cupping his ears as he tried to drown out the morning songs. Not quite understanding where his hatred for the ancients came from, he felt cold and bitter in spirit. But more disturbing than anything else was that he would have rather stayed in Black Hole 9 instead of returning home to a dying planet called Earth. Hutch watched the Major leave in Dacia's space monkey, as he called it. A little disappointed he wouldn't see Earth, but any regrets he may have felt were already dissipating. On his way home that evening, he visited one of the ancients, his grandfather, Harold Drew Tanner, who was dictating the Holy Scriptures to a young Earthstar citizen. After sharing a meal and a great conversation, Hutch kissed his grandfather good night.
I'll see you tomorrow, Granddad.
Happy birthday, Hutch. Got any plans tonight?
Hutch smiled.
Yeah, just floating around in space, no big deal. Trying to lasso another 45-mile-per-second shooting star, because clearly gravity is optional, and I have nothing better to do.
Maybe Dacia will hang with you. She's another one that clearly has nothing better to do.
Harold Drew Tanner widened his eyes and winked.
She might have some time for a handsome architect, unless, of course, she's building another star cruiser out of space junk.
I suppose you would want me to bring flowers, too.
Hutch grinned and nodded.
Good night, Granddad.